You know, the funny thing is, I hate that we're in here talking about this.
No, I'm not a fan. It's a beautiful day outside.
We should be talking outside about this. It's 75 degrees. It's a beautiful June day because the whole episode is about what Germans do for fun in the sun.
That's what we're doing.
In the summer.
And we're not German, but we can still have fun in the sun. So let's just dip out. We're done. Later.
I'm Geoff.
I'm Alex. We're both Americans who've been living in Germany for over a decade now, and we're here to spread some...
It's been a long time.
It's been a while. We're here to spread some knowledge to you guys on what it's like to be an American living here in Germany, specifically here in Berlin.
Also known as an expat.
Also known as an immigrant.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
But guys,
we're that.
First, don't forget, hit subscribe so you see more beautiful content like this, and go ahead and buy the like button, a bottle of Green Spot, maybe some Jameson. He's a nice guy. Just buy him one little bottle. It's fine.
And also check out the links down below. We have our podcast that we've been doing for years, and our Instagram and our website, all that juicy stuff.
Right in the description box.
Here below this table. Let's take a look.
Sure. But first, or more importantly, not first, last, middle, where are we? We're going to talk about German fun in the sun. As we said, we've lived in Germany for too long to remember.
For 10 summers, pretty much.
So even though we're not German, we have plenty of experience doing fun in the sun. And it is June, and finally, summer has come to Germany, because especially in Berlin, the winters are endless. They're
long.
7-8 months, something like that.
No, I mean, the winters are definitely long. And the funny thing about Germans that I find...
You mean one of the funny things about Germans?
One of the funny things about Germans I find is that there's always one day in February, March, where it's still pretty shit weather.
But comparatively, suddenly it jumps up to 50 Fahrenheit, right? Which is still cold. But compared to it's been in the 20s for so many months.
Right.
And Germans love nature, being outside. Yeah, it's 50, and suddenly you see just half the city go outside playing ping pong. They're throwing their scarves off, pretending it's not cold, but it's still freezing. Yeah.
We're talking about mid-February here. This happens all the time. So you'll see if there's a little bit of sun outside, the Germans are out. They're going crazy for it.
But that shows how much Germans miss the summer. So when it finally comes here, Germans do not spend a minute indoors, which is why we feel weird being inside, recording this, talking about being outside. But anyways, this is where our set is, so that's kind of how we have to.
That's kind of the problem. And the thing is, Geoff, so now that summer is finally here, I have noticed, especially this summer, the sun just stays. We haven't had rain since March or April.
Yeah, that is true. And also, because we're in Northern Europe, in Berlin, and Germany in general is, in the northern quadrant, or whatever you want to call it.
Northeastern quadrant.
Yeah. So here, come June, July, the sun doesn't start to go down until about 10:30. So, and it comes up at around 4 a.m. So we get a lot of sun. I mean, the days are long, and there's so many times where you're walking around and you look at your clock and you're like, oh shit, it's 10. It's 10. I got to get home.
It's hard to know when to go. And also, I don't know about you. I don't like, if I'm going out for a night, I don't like to come home when it's sunny outside. I kind of feel like a garbage human.
Yeah, it feels weird.
I want to come home at night, not in the morning.
Yeah, totally. I have some times where me and my wife feel like I have like a really long day, and she's like, "Oh, can we just go up in bed and just like get in bed early?" But then I look outside, and it's just like it is now. It's completely bright outside. I just can't go to the bedroom when it's even though it's 10 something. I can't do it. But what I can do is drink outside, which unfortunately, if you live in the U.S., you can't do. But that's kind of like the mainstay. It's funny because even if beer drinking's not really that big in your life when you live in the U.S., it just becomes a part of your life when you live in Germany, because you can drink it's just everywhere you go. Why would you not go to the park and drink a beer if it's hot and have an ice cold beer?
I love. Actually, Geoff, speaking of drinks, we should have whiskey on the table, shouldn't we?
We should.
Yeah.
Whiskey?
Whiskey.
Yeah, this is better. All right. Cheers. I was talking about beer gardens. It's the one thing in Germany during the summer that no matter where you live, you just can't get around them. You're going to be invited to go and hang out at a beer garden. And good on you, because it's fun.
And I think, as an American, the first thing you think about Germany, you think of bratwurst, beer gardens, and naked people.
Really? Think about naked people?
I think about naked people a lot.
Oh, okay. But just like, not necessarily
this is who I am
about Germany. But the beautiful thing about a beer garden is literally, it's as it's described. It's an outdoor bar, basically, where you have a lot of these kind of like wooden benches, beautiful surroundings, and then there's a little wooden hut. You go, you order your bratwurst, you order your beer, but like the menus have been expanding. So a few that I've been to lately do have vegan and vegetarian options, and of course they do have wine.
Yep.
So even if you don't like beer,
But Aperol Spritz, let them have that too. I'm a big this summer big Aperol guy.
I've noticed you're a big Aperol.
noticed that? Yeah.
I mean, my wife loves Aperol Spritz.
It's good stuff.
But usually you go to a beer garden and you order yourself a big, cold beer. You carry it, because there's no table service, because it's all self-service. And then you walk over to your table, and usually you're sharing table. You know, maybe these tables hold, 20 people usually. You know, like there's big tables
They're
usually
big.
at a beer garden. So it could be, there's a couple other groups at the table already, and you go, oh, hey, is this Platz frei? And you go, okay. And then you sit down, and sometimes you become friends with people, sometimes not. It's just how it works.
Yeah, that's it. So
You're like, I got nothing else to say about beer gardens.
I got nothing else about beer garden.
Yeah.
It's a garden. It's full of beer. If you don't like beer, you don't like gardens. I don't think you like a beer garden. But if you like beer and gardens, then it's the place for you.
Yeah. And speaking of beer gardens, there's kind of a self-made beer garden, which is something you can't do in the States because you can't legally drink in public in the US.
True.
But in Germany, you can drink pretty
Anywhere.
much everywhere.
It's encouraged. It's not that you can, it's that it's almost encouraged. So if you go to a convenience store and you buy a beer, I like how they have the beer openers right there. They'll ask you, so it's gleich aufmachen, which means should I open it right now? And you say, yeah, open it right there in the store, and you walk out.
Yeah, you go to, in other cities it's called a kiosk, but in Berlin it's called a Späti. Which,
Spätkauf.
Yeah, which comes from Spätkauf, which is late buy.
Right.
Because it's one of the few stores that are open after 10, because Germany still doesn't really have the 24-hour culture like we do in the
But the
US.
Spätis are open a lot of times 24 hours, which is fantastic.
Especially at little 7-Elevens. And yeah, this is the culture. When you're buying these beers, they immediately ask, do you want to open them? Because they assume you're going to drink them immediately and not take them home.
Right.
Because you can drink when you're on a walk. But usually when you have nothing to do, Germans, they call up their friends. They pick one of the beautiful parks, because there's so many parks in Berlin and Munich and everywhere else. Like, hey, meet me here. You bring some food, you bring a little portable grill, and you bring a buttload of beer. And if you have a cool bag, get a cool bag, keep them cold. Then you just hang out and you drink, 1 to 8 beers and just have some good time all day.
Yeah,
Saturday.
I would say that's maybe the second thing, the second fun thing here in Germany is drinking in the parks. That's something that, especially during COVID, that was a huge thing that we did because.
Well, that's why we were talking about it for the past 5 minutes, because it's the second thing.
It's the second thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't think we need to label it.
Well,
I think they knew it was the second thing.
You know the second thing.
Yeah.
You're smart. But also, at least in Berlin and also throughout other cities in Germany too, and little small towns. I'm not hating on the small towns.
I love a dorf.
Little dorf?
A German village.
Big
Also
fan.
known as a dorf. Fun.
There's a lot of Germany has a lot of lakes. Like it's a lakey, holy, like
Holy?
you know, if it's like cheese you filled with like water, a little lake.
Okay, so there's lots of lakes in
Lots of lakes.
Germany. And of course, Germany in the south and Bavaria, it's home to the world famous Alps, on the border of Switzerland, whatever. So Germans, they kind of grow up really respecting nature and wanting to spend time out in nature, hiking, cycling, swimming, a little bit of Bergsteigen, if you will, a little bit of mountain climbing.
Especially down south, when you're down in Munich and Bavaria, you're gonna see people. I mean, I don't know if you did, but I see everyone in the summer is wearing hiking shoes and Jack Wolfskin.
Yeah, and when
I get my flip flops.
I lived there for a few months, and almost every weekend when you call people, none of them would be in Munich because they'd be off doing a day trip or whatever. That's
Right.
Like, when you always ask people what's their favorite thing, the best thing about living in Munich, they always say because it's so close to X and X. They never say because Munich's great. They just say because Munich is close to the Alps, or close to this village, or close to this nice lake, or something like that.
No, and I don't want to hate on Munich.
No,
but
I would never live there.
But living in Berlin, I'm gonna hate on Munich a little bit. So I do apologize to all of you Bavarians, but
that is the third thing that Germans love to do is they really love to spend time outdoors, to go kayaking, to go for a hike, and cycling is huge in Germany, much more so than the U.S. So they of course go on long, 5-hour long cycling routes, around 3 different lakes. Berlin is surrounded by nature. Almost every German city is kind of plopped in the middle of a forest.
Berlin was literally built on a swamp. So there you go.
But not as many mosquitoes as you think, considering it's a swamp.
It's not mosquito-y.
Oddly enough.
It's not terrible.
Number 4. This is something that, so recently I had my sister and her husband and some of the family visiting me in Berlin. And this is something that kind of blew them away and was near and dear to their heart just from the few days that they were here, is that ping pong is huge in Germany.
Tisch tennis.
Yeah, Tisch tennis. And especially in Berlin, I think Berlin has over 1,000, these are public ping pong tables that are made of concrete and cement. And so almost every public space you go to, in the corner, there'll be 2 or 3 of these permanent ping pong tables. All you have to do is just bring your paddle and your ball. And usually in summer, I almost always have a couple paddles and a ball in my backpack. And other German cities are like this as well. They just love ping pong. And so this is something that people will most definitely do in the summer is, hey man, let's go play some ping pong.
But you got to watch out. So if you're playing ping pong with some friends and you see a guy hanging out in the corner drinking a beer, watching you play, and he's like, you want to play? Don't play the game. Don't play with him. He's gonna crush you.
What's the game? Oh, you mean he's like a hustler?
Yeah, because it happened to us. Remember on Head and Tug? You weren't there.
Oh yeah, I heard the story. Yeah,
we were playing ping pong, and then this guy watching. Hey, friendly game, of course. Destroyed us all. Just absolutely destroyed us.
Either that happens, or what usually happens in the parks near here, there's always kind of a drunken old guy who's just watching you play and like commenting on what you're doing.
But doesn't want to play himself.
Doesn't want to play. He's not a part of the group. He's not invited. He just kind of shows up and then he just watches and gives a commentary.
That's just German culture. Just judging you on what you're doing.
On what you're doing, yeah.
That's how you do. That's how the Germans do.
But keep in mind, ping pong is so popular, some weekends it's actually hard to find a free table, even though there are thousands of them.
And there are also apps. You get an app on your phone, or websites that show you.
Pingpong.net or something like that?
.net.
Yeah.
This is going back to AOL.
Yeah. You can find it on Netscape.
You can find it on Netscape. Pingpong.net, or maybe, I don't know what it's called, but they have a map to find all the ping pong tables around your city. It's pretty cool. We've used it a few times.
Oh, I mean, love it.
5 times.
5 times. Speaking of 5, actually, we didn't plan on being a 5 best, but we're kind of...
It's listicle. Welcome to BuzzFeed.
But here we go. This is 5 by no...
Happenstance.
Yeah, by happenstance, yeah. And number 5, because Germany is so steep in history...
Especially Berlin,
but almost anywhere you go. Bavaria, Cologne... down in the southwest, near the Black Forest, there is just a rich culture of urbexing, of exploring abandoned buildings, because Germany has been through so much in the past, forget 1,000 years, the past 100 years.
Yeah.
There's just bunkers, there's castles, there's abandoned palaces. They're just everywhere. Old Soviet military installations, because they took over East Germany for a long time, for about 40 years. I mean, there's just so much. So there's so much to explore.
And because I think Berlin is so broke, they really can't afford to fix all these buildings. I mean, in the past few years, we know like a lot of them are kind of going away.
So I'd get to it soon. Now, because this is technically illegal, we are not condoning this activity.
I've never done this.
But there's so much more we could talk about, but we can't just talk for hours. So that is, I think, German fun in the sun in a nutshell. We'll throw in some more because obviously there's a lot more that you could do in Germany in the summer, but we can't talk forever.
That's it for now. So everyone, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. So in the meantime, please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay thirsty.
Cheers.
Cheers.